And the best life isn't necessarily just about a business or just about one thing. A best life is about this diversity of what you'd like to accomplish or choose or live or experience or whatever that is for oneself. And it's not necessarily always about a financial outcome. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's important to have finances, of course, but it's about the life that you really want to live. And a team leader showing people how to accomplish that is the biggest attraction on the planet. We've all been attracted to people who have full lives, right? Fulfillment in life. And so when we're in that space and we see people doing that, we want to be that. So as a team leader, the idea is, let me show you how to accomplish this.
Welcome, fellow entrepreneurs and goal-getters, to Entrepreneurial Elevation, Unleashing Greatness Within, with myself, your host, and my special guest today, Mr. Paul Sessum. I am so excited to have him here. He is one half of my favorite couple, his wife being Beth Bowles, who was the very first guest on my podcast. So go back and listen to episode 1, and you will hear from Paul's beautiful wife and one of my best friends in the world, Beth Bowles. Yet I'm excited to introduce Paul because he's just such a phenomenal person, not only in business, yet in family and in friendship. And Paul, he's been in real estate since 2004. In 2006, he joined Keller Williams Realty and was with them for quite some time. Started as a sales agent and worked his way up in leadership to become a team leader. And I love this stat, Paul. You had 289 associates underneath your team, where you guys had transactions of 2.5 billion in sales and transactions. And that just speaks to the quality of your leadership and what we're going to be talking today, which is the ability to build strong teams and collaboration. In 2022, you shifted over and brought your team to EXP Realty, which is where you are now, still building teams and as well coaching others through the Workman Success Systems, which we can talk about today as well, where you're coaching a group of senior coaches. And I know that for me, my experience of you is you're just such a phenomenal coach because you genuinely always want to see other people succeed and live their best life. And that's also what I love about you. And you actually have a cool start. You started in the entertainment industry where you actually met Beth. And so you just have an amazing career that spans into different areas and aspects. I know you were a manager in the entertainment industry and film and TV and commercials and Broadway, and just so much fun. And so we're going to talk today about how to build teams and why collaboration with other people is important, and how when you have the foundation of a strong team, it actually allows you as an entrepreneur to design your life and do the things we want to do, which is why we say we want to be an entrepreneur, which is to be in control of spending our time with the people we want, doing the things we want. And you're such a great example of that, Paul. So just welcome to the call, or I guess the episode. Welcome to the episode.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here today, Kelly, and thank you for asking me. And as you're talking about this, the idea of team is, in as much as it can be a self-serving place to be in, the idea of the team in my mind is the team leader setting the example of how to live your best life. And the best life isn't necessarily just about a business or just about one thing. A best life is about this diversity of what you'd like to accomplish or choose or live or experience or whatever that is for oneself. And it's not necessarily always about a financial outcome. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's important to have finances, of course, but it's about the life that you really want to live. And a team leader showing people how to accomplish that is the biggest attraction on the planet. We've all been attracted to people who have full lives, right? Fulfillment in life. And so when we're in that space and we see people doing that, we want to be that. So as a team leader, the idea is, let me show you how to accomplish this. Yes. Yeah. I can show you how to make money. I can show you how to do all these things, but there's some things I want to lead you to. You got to figure it out yourself, but lead you there.
No,
so
I love that.
Good stuff.
We were talking a little bit about that yesterday too, when we were on a call, that it's all about the art of fulfillment, not just about the science of getting rich, right? And you can have all the money in the world, yet if all other areas of your life are not being fulfilled and you're not joyful and happy with the success, then it's all for naught. And I agree with you. I know when I was building my last business, most people just looked at me as a workaholic, and I was having a lot of hard times having people join my business because they're like, that's great for you, but I don't want that lifestyle, to your point.
Right. That's not
Right?
what I want. Glad for you. Yay, yay, yay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on a call this morning and there was a gentleman on that call that expressed something similar. And he had gone through a period where his business wasn't doing well. And then ultimately that impacted finances. Finances impacted their life. And he became myopic and focused on just the business for a long time. And he wasn't moving forward. And he went to a concert with his wife. And at the end of the concert, the wife turns to him there and she says, "It's beautiful to see you smiling. I haven't seen you smile in 2 years," because he was so one-sided, weighted to one thing, right? And it was that moment in time that he was like, oh, I actually feel good. And it has nothing to do about my business and what's going on there. I feel good. And so that's where he really began to jump in and endeavor the balance of life. And so now he has this big team and he works in real estate too with quite a few people. And his thing that he focuses on is, how do I keep front and center for everyone fulfillment and balance and opportunity and growth, right? All of those things. It's just, we all have this concept in our lives and we don't, maybe, I'm not going to say don't. We're challenged of how we focus on it, right? Where we put our focus is what actually occurs in our life. We didn't talk about this the other day, but there is a trick. You can look at somebody's calendar and very quickly tell what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly. And if their calendar has only work-related items on it, which most people do, is that fulfilled? Maybe, maybe not. It takes a conversation, right, to explore into it to see what is going on. And if you see someone who has this life of frivolity on their calendar, which is great, but there's nothing that generates an income, it's like, how do they afford that life? It could be independent wealth. Who knows? It's not a right or wrong. It's just an awareness of what we're doing with our time. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. And we're afraid to put things like, this is going to be ridiculous. We're afraid to put things like laundry. And yet we need time to do our laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Or hire somebody to do it. Either way, you got to take care of that item. Or grocery shopping. That's oftentimes on people's list. But it's the things in life that we do that we don't schedule. Imagine if we scheduled everything and became very purposeful with the allocation of my time. And when I allocate my time, I'm able to find out what I do and don't like. And if there's something that I'm doing that I'm not thrilled about, that allows me to open an opportunity for somebody who does that really well to be a part of my team. And my team isn't just business. My team is perhaps my trust attorney. My team is my lender that helps me find money when I need money to purchase something big. It's my doctors, my medical team. It's my dietitian, although I don't have one right now. I have to admit, I don't have a dietitian. I really need one. So it's not on my calendar to deal with that. But it's what's part of a team. It's not just business. It's life, spiritual leadership, a faith. Obviously your financials, doing fun things. How do you schedule that? So your friends. Do you actually schedule your friends? Or are they important enough to schedule time with? That's a big aha, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I love what you're sharing. It's like, one, if you don't schedule it, it most likely won't happen. And number two, a lot of people say, and we're speaking to, most of the listeners are entrepreneurs and people who have a high desire for success. And most of the time people will say, I'm doing it for my family, or health is really important to me, or friendship is important to me. Yet if you look at the calendar, it's all business, it's all work, it's no play. And I find that really interesting as we're talking about this. And as we lean into this subject, I would love to use this as a segue to talk about the value and some strategies around building team, because I think that is one of the reasons we wanted this to be the topic, is that when you have those teams in place, it allows you and gives you permission to be able to put other areas of our life in our schedule and do it in a way where we feel safe, we feel secure, we trust the business is still going to grow, even though we might not be as involved as before. And my first question for you around teams, Paul, is like, how do you define a strong collaborative team? And why is it, first of all, important for business growth? And then we'll talk down the road here why it's also important for a fulfilling life.
So defining a purposeful team, one that's in sync, right, is everyone's working in the areas of their life that they do well with. And what I mean by that is not necessarily the skill level, that's important, but the behavioral style. And if you think about people, we all have a way that we behave, right? And we lean to a certain thing. For instance, you're very influential and you're very outgoing and you're a lot of fun to be around, and you elevate people through your personality, and you're willing to learn and to give that away, right? That's part of Kelly Beverage. Beth is very similar to you in that regard. And we call that a high I, right? The influence side of somebody. And you look at somebody like another person we know jointly, Charlie, high D, is a driver. It's about getting things done. Sometimes they're messy. It's okay. They just drive and they create a lot of opportunity for people, but they don't necessarily know how to close everything up sweetly, right? Or somebody who's very good at systematic work, or somebody who cares, the S's and the C's. That's the DISC behavioral profiles we're talking about. And when you have a team that's working in their behaviors, and they're good at what they do, and they have the right of ownership for what we put them in those positions for. Own the position. I'm going to let you have it, and I'm going to have my input into it, and you're going to give me the return, right? You're actually going to give me feedback on why that does and doesn't work, and trust that person to do their job. So trust is really the foundation to a good team. Put people here. I trust they're going to do it. It's going to work. Almost always it does if we have that mindset. If it doesn't, maybe it wasn't the right chair, right? Doesn't mean that they're the wrong person necessarily, just not the right chair for them. They could be something over here. Be aware of watching your team because you want them to succeed. You bring them into an environment that anyone can succeed where you're at. And if you believe that as the leader, that's the balance of a team. I'm having you do this. I don't do it. There's so many things I don't do, Kelly. Like, really. Like sitting down and writing out a list. Not me. I need somebody to really do that for me. Somebody to like take care of I'm in real estate. I sell. I'm pretty good at that. What I'm not good at is all the details in the contract. So I have somebody who handles that for me. And I don't even question it. They just said, you missed this. We need to send it out for signature. I'll take care of it. And it's like, fine, because they have an eye for that I don't have. I get it. It needs to be done. I just don't have that. And it takes me so long to get it done. I get so frustrated with myself. Why? Put somebody there that can really do it and they love doing it. Right? They love that work. Then that's where they succeed. Yeah. And so they get compensation as a result. So it's surrounding yourself with those people and setting that tone, right? Is that making sense? Is that connected to what their question is?
Yeah, no, of course. And right. And how to create a strong team, what I'm hearing is allow people to play to their strengths and really start to understand the human being and who they are and how they operate, and make sure people are in roles that they're going to be able to excel at, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your strengths. And so let's say you're building a strong team. And Paul, you built a team up to 289 associates. I know you're doing this now. You're building teams. It's one of your strengths. What would you say would be 3 to 4 strategies to building teams? So like, what would you guide other people to make sure they're focused on or looking at when they're in the process of building teams for their business?
The very first thing is to really identify and understand the core value of the team, the value principle of which everyone can operate from. This is what we stand for. And in that, you attract and you release according to those core values. It doesn't apply just to the team member. It applies to the people you do business with as well. So if somebody is abusive and your core value is about enlightenment and uplifting, that's going to be a conflict, right? Right there. So it's a choice that you get to make. Either I can put my value on the sideline and suffer for the exchange of money, which kind of makes us grumpy, right? Or I can say, you know what, this isn't a good fit. We're not the right team for you. Let me put you over here with another team, which they could really succeed at, right? They could be better with somebody that matched that behavior. So core value, understanding what your core value, your mission, what are we here to do? We're here to help people. We want help. For instance, in mine is I don't help people find houses. That's everywhere. There's a house right there. So you can see them. It's navigating the complexity of a real estate transaction. That's what I do. And it's the navigation that I offer. That's the service that I offer. And so that clarity of our mission is to make the journey easy and simple, right? That's what it is, as best as it can be. And so that's the mission. And then our core values: choose to be happy, in integrity, being on time, committed to the outcome, staying the game. Those are all things that are part of our core values. And so you want to, if you looked at Keller Williams, their core values are on their walls everywhere. And that's called the Y, 4 C's, 2 T's is theirs. And each one of those stands for something, right? And so you have your core values. So that would be the first thing. Understand what it is. The second thing is know what the roles are. What are the roles that you're looking to put somebody into? You may be doing everything right now. That's quite all right. That's how we all begin. Maybe doing everything right now. What is it that you don't do well or you don't want to do at all? That starts to define a position. Now we know what the role is. Now who can do that really, really well? And so we begin to look for the who. Now, when you get very clear about your who, and you put ads out or you go to create a relationship or whatever is going to happen there, when you define the who, you now can come back and go, I'm not really seeing a lot of people. So there must be something wrong with what I'm doing. And that's actually everything is right about what you're doing. Because when you're clear about who you're looking for, it's not going to be everybody. You don't want 600 applicants. You don't want to have 600 interviews. You want it to be so clear that it's attracting the who that is that. And they're far and few between. Building team is not like, oh, everybody be a part of my team and let's go have fun and let's do a robot. It's not that. It's about very specific people coming together with a common shared goal that have strengths and weaknesses that offset each other. And you played together to accomplish the bigger picture, the mission, right? So there's going to be fewer people that fit that chair than everybody. And that's a big misconception right there. And there's this whole concept of, and I'm going to talk about hiring right now, slow to hire, quick to fire. I believe that when you're slow to hire and you take your time and you're looking for the right fit, you may not have to fire that much. The goal is not to fire. The goal is to create stability and longevity in a place that people belong. And that foundation comes from trust. If you hire somebody and you open that conversation up with 90 days, if you don't fit, you're out. Is that really a level of trust? Is that really an environment of growth and opportunity? Or is that an environment of judgment and failure and scarcity and fear? It's not to say that those things don't work. It's just you have to be clear about what you're building. What environment are you building for people to come to? So did I give two or did I hit all three?
Oh my gosh. No, I love I love everything you're sharing. And because I was going to ask you and you then answered the question, like, how do you start to pre-qualify people? And do you just accept everybody and anybody? Because you're talking about ensuring people's values align. And so I love that. Be slow to hire and quick to fire. And so how do you ensure, like, what would be some tips you would give in that slow to hire process? Like, what are you looking for with people to be a part of your team? And then how do you, as a leader, ensure that people align with your vision and your goals?
So first, literally, and this is the world that we're in today. So let's take it for what it is. Design the avatar. If in your mind and on paper as well, in your mind, if you can see, smell, touch, relate to that person, that's your avatar. So what are the qualities of the avatar that you're looking for? And so that becomes what you write these things down literally. And it's like, I'm looking for this and this and this and this. And what I'm not seeing is this and this. I don't see these things. I don't want those things. I'm seeing the things that I do want. And define the avatar for the position that you're hiring. Once you're clear about their qualities, and literally, there's one thing that you'll really never know when you're hiring, and I jumped over here, is you design your avatar, but there's certain thing that when you're sitting across from somebody, and this is going to sound a little crude, sometimes it's their odor, you just don't relate. And that's something you don't know until you're in front of them. Or it's their energy doesn't feel right. There's an exchange. And if it doesn't feel right, trust your gut. It doesn't feel right. This isn't going to be the right person. Are you 100% correct? Maybe not, but you're more likely correct. Design that, put somebody in the chair that fits that. I want to attract this person. Now, when I'm having a conversation, I want to offer questions that help me understand how they behaved with things. Questions that aren't, do you know how to type? Questions of, have you filed before? Those aren't going to help you, right? The questions that you're looking for is, who is this person? How do you handle adversity? How do you handle feedback? How do you like to receive feedback? What's failure look like to you? What does winning look like to you? Have you ever been in the situation that you didn't feel trusted, and what did you do? Have you been in a situation where things didn't move forward? How did you handle that? And so you're setting up scenarios for people to really think about places in their lives that this has occurred and how they respond. What do they actually do? Right? Interviews we usually don't go deep enough into the people that we're putting in chairs that we're going to spend 8, 9, 10 hours, 4 hours, whatever the time frame is we're spending a lot of time with these people and they with us. We're across the room from each other, right? So we're all in the same space together and we're not very careful about it. And we wonder why it fails so easily. It's because we're not intentional about who we're attracting. We're not clear enough to know I'm my best shot. It may not work out, but probably will. Here's an example. Going back to that Keller Williams where I built a team of 289 people. The administrator that worked with me that I inherited when I stepped into that, loved her. Awesome human being. She did everything so well. And she owned that position. The definition of that position still in my head is her to this day. And she retired. And I was like, oh no, now what? Right? And so then began the journey of, and this is where I learned a lot about the who part, of finding the person that was going to step into that chair because that role was going to influence and touch every other person in the company significantly and impactfully. So it had to be the right person or else I was going to lose over here, right? Met people. And I started to interview and I met this lovely lady. And she opened the conversation with, I am so happy you took this meeting because I want to be here. I know what this office is. I know who you are. I know who these people are here. I want to be here. Right? It's like, okay, that's fine. And we went on 7 months of interviews. That's how cautious I was with this because the impact was too big. And I was in fear, quite frankly. And she came in and she said, it was the last interview and having conversation. She said, I just need to stop you. She said, I don't know what you're looking for from me. But what I do know is I have been coming here. And by now you should know I want to be here. By now you should know that I'm perfect for this job and that I will do what it takes to get here. Now, are you going to hire me or not? I need to know. And then I knew. That was almost 13 years ago. And she's still in that position today, even though I'm not there, running that and doing it well and loved by the people that are surrounding. She, and there's one other person that's also in a significant role there. They're both still there. Both of them had so much influence on the agent count and the agent body that I was extremely careful about the hire. And not to pat myself on the back, is to demonstrate that they pursued, and we have to pay attention to other people, right? I could have cut that timeline down a lot, quite frankly. I was just in my own head about it all. And so learning the skills, learning the ideas to look for helps you really get sharper, faster. That's what I would say to all of it. Did I lose track of you?
No, I
No.
love it.
Okay.
And I think a message you're sharing is so great, because I keep going back to that simple saying you just said, which is slow to hire, quick to fire, because your team is crucial to your success. And I believe your team is an extension of you, your credibility, your reputation, your results. And so I agree with you. I think most people, including myself, are quick to hire, right? And slow to fire. And just you sharing that perspective flip could be a game changer for a lot of people and their business, and just that adversity that they might be going through, because a strong team is the answer to success, a big piece of it anyways. And so I love that you're sharing that. And Paul, let's say, so now you have this team, right? Like you're practicing these strategies, you've built this team, you feel like everybody's collaborating. Can you speak to the benefit of this, and how, from a positive perspective, when you have a proper team, a stacked team behind you, it actually can lead to creativity and innovation and even opportunities and ideas that you yourself as the leader didn't think about?
Yes. And without question, that's why you want to have the right people around you. Leading to building a strong team and having the team behind you allows me, or the leader, to think in a different way. You're not thinking about the nuance of the day, the task of the day. You're able to think forward and say, now, where are we really going? Is our mission strong enough to take us to the next level? And to begin to look like, what are the opportunities look like from there? And then bring that back to your team and present it to them. Like, here's what I'm looking at and where I think we're going. What do you guys think? Are you on board with me or not? And when the team is able to contribute openly and honestly, they start to point out things that concern them, or hiccups that are along the way, or maybe something that I didn't think of big enough, right? It's like, oh, wow. And they get really excited. And you're like, I didn't expect that. And so there's all kinds of stuff that happens with the team when you as the leader are free to look future wise. I see us going here in the next year, 2 years, 18 months. We're going to invest together to go. And when we go, this is our reward for doing this. This is our outcome. This is the plan. And once everybody knows what you're doing and where you want to go and what role they play and how they get there with you, they pour into it, right? Especially when there is leadership opportunity to develop, because as you grow, you step out of a position as you grow yourself, and that leaves a void that needs to be dealt with. And that creates a leadership position for the next person to step into. And so it offers this growth for everybody moving forward, create stability in your company. This takes a lot of focus, though. Let's not shed it off and like, this is easy to do. It's you as a leader being highly intentional, highly focused on the people that are around you to make sure that they're succeeding and that they have opportunity. That's your responsibility as a leader. When you invite somebody into your organization, what you're saying is that I'm bringing you in here to help you have a fuller life, right? Not just a financial life, but a fuller life, fulfillment. So that's my obligation to you, is to help you get to what that looks like. And as long as you're doing that as a leader, you will forever have people working with you and following you. Pour into others regardless. What is the motto of Workman? Workman, where I coach at. One of the mottos of Workman is serve regardless of the opportunity. Give, just give. You will never lose when you're giving. And when you're in service to somebody else to succeed, you will never lose. Yeah. And there's so many people who are afraid of that concept. It's like, if I give them that and they leave, then that means that they left. Okay. But they left better than when they came. That's the hope. And when they leave better than they came, they take that with them. That's a whole nother message that gets out there. There's just so many nuances to everything. And the first thing is to be generous, right? To be generous with you as a leader. I give you my time. You may have to schedule the time. I'm not saying that you're available 24/7, but I give you my time. I want to help you succeed. I want to give you opportunity. I want to help you. What is it that you need? Oh, you don't know. Let's work on this then. Let's do it for 6 months. Let's see what the results are. Results aren't overnight in most cases. We've got to give ourselves time with people to let them succeed.
I'm loving this again, because you're just giving a different perspective shift, that it's not how and what can my team do for me, right? Even though that's a piece of it, it's why we're building a team, and it's what can I do for you, and to support your team in living their best life, which in turn will allow you to live yours. I think that's such a great way to look at it. And what would you say to an entrepreneur? Because I find entrepreneurs are a special breed. Like, I'll just even speak for myself. I agree with everything you're sharing. Where I struggle is I have a hard time giving up control, right? Like, to pass on and delegate and entrust in someone else that they will do just as good of a job as I would, or better, which is the hope, right? In theory, I know that in my mind, yet to actually turn over like my business or my baby, or when I work so hard, and allow other people to run with it, that's really hard, right? Just being really honest. So what would you say to entrepreneurs, business owners, in this fear that may be coming up, where like in our head, we know it's the smart thing to do, yet we're really struggling with letting go of control?
Mm-hmm. That's an ego trip in a way, right? It's a self-serving ego trip to say that I'm unwilling to grow as a leader, and I don't want to learn how to train somebody to do it my way because I'm fearful that they're going to leave and take all my ideas with them. Okay, so they do. And then what? They won't do it the way that you do it. But it's the ego of like, nobody can do it better than I can. When you go to a dentist, he doesn't clean your teeth, or she doesn't clean your teeth. It's usually another position called your hygienist that actually does that piece. Can the dentist do it? Yes. Probably did it before. Yes. On the path to become the problem solver. But now he's created a position like, I'm working on these bigger ideas for people in their mouths, and this person has the opportunity to grow and train and learn. I'm going to teach them how to do this my way, and I'm going to give them all the authority to make it better. And that's how it works. We're not good at everything. Does the pilot serve you drinks on the airline? No. Do they take your bags off the plane? No. Do they sell your tickets for you? No. Everyone has something that there's an opportunity for everyone to succeed. And if you're doing everything, you're unable to scale. It's just that simple. Now, you might have a business that works for you. That's fine. And if it is, and that's how you're running your business, just know that there's limits, because there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much you're going to be able to do, no matter how well you do it. And already keep in mind that whether you acknowledge it or not, you already have a team in place. Because it's really hard to really think about, I have to clean my own house, cook all my own food, do all my own grocery shopping, do my own dry cleaning, get my car worked on, cut my grass, pay my bills, and run my business, and do all this sort, and be a spouse, and be a parent. And so you just got to figure out, it's like, is that a life? And if I don't do this thing here, then I'm not going to have the income, and we're out of balance. And then I got to go get a job for somebody, and we create this horrible circuit of disappointment. And so you just have to really say, I'm good where I'm at if I'm a small business entrepreneur, and I'm okay with doing everything myself, because that's all I want. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be in awareness that that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Great advice.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong to any of this. There really isn't. It's the awareness of, are you accomplishing in your life what you want? And if you're getting what you want, that's great. If you're not, then what do you do different?
Yeah.
I need to hire somebody. What am I going to give them to do? All the things I don't want to do. Are they capable of doing all the things I don't want to do? Probably not, but some of them things some of the things they are.
Yeah. And so let's talk about, we started the call in this conversation, yet you're like, let's say, okay, no, it's not working. So I'm wanting to
Mhm.
implement a strong team. And so I do that. Now, how does having this strong team allow me to step back in my day-to-day life? And what is the benefit of that? And now I get to, as you shared, go back to designing my life based on the fact that my calendar can now look the way I wanted it to look, with the lifestyle and the spending time with the people I want to spend with and my values. So speak to the benefit of that.
Speak to the benefit of living the life you want to live.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you've gone through this as a business owner, the idea of putting a strong team in place and investing in other people and being able to scale where you're not the one involved in everything, which frees up time, right? It frees up time and energy and mental capacity and everything to be able to go and design our life.
You're able to become the person that your whole spirit would like to be, right? And this is a part you had to work through this piece, and that's part of you. And now you get to look at things that you hadn't even thought were capable of, or even would get to. I work with people all the time in my coaching world that it may take 18 months to accomplish something. And once that, let's take an example of Tom. And Tom, real estate guy, and he's done really well in real estate. And his wife's vision has always been a coffee shop. And when we started to work together, one of the things that he said is, I want to be able to invest in her coffee shop because she's supported me all these years in my career and allowed me to succeed. I really want to see this through. So we began to build the plan about what it would take to make that happen. That was a 3-year plan that we accomplished in 18 months just by not working harder or anything like that. It really came about because we were much more aware. He was much more aware of, oh, these are the things. And once you start doing things, they happen faster than you think. And you build on that. Now they have the coffee shop. And so he was a pilot for the U.S. Air Force. And one of the things that he wanted to do next was to become a Civil Air Patrol person. And because he loved to fly so much. So that became his next target. He's flying for the Civil Air Patrol now. And he's not, his team, as we built the team, his support staff first, get all of the paperwork off of your desk that generates no financial outcome. It needs to be done. It's a service. It has to be done. It's just not generating more money, right? It's a process. So let's hire somebody to do that. So he's freed up to create more income. When he had more income, we were able to create the coffee shop. Got the coffee shop on board. We were able to start to hire it. It started to generate its own money within 18 months. So that he could step out of leadership of that more, put in the right people there. So now he has real estate. Now they have the coffee shop. And then he wanted to do something that was totally joy to him, Civil Air Patrol, and he volunteers for them. And then with the church that he is a part of, he's now in the volunteered ministering for the church and this kids camp and all these things that he has the time to go do. And he's elevating people in a different way, children, young people, in a way that is creating a vision and opportunity and faith and all of this that he's putting into kids, right? And it's beautiful to watch that movement. Now that's been a 4-year journey to accomplish this. You have to let things work to get there. We so quickly want to throw it all out too fast. So I don't get results, as opposed to, I'm not getting results. What am I doing? What's my activity? If I'm not doing the right activities, I'm not going to get the right result. This is what I was doing. I don't have a result. Let me change what I'm doing. And you do that over and over and over and over and over, right? So having a team allows you to create other things in your life that are important to you and to other people as well. Supporting a spouse or giving back to the community or just joy. And then you're living a fuller life all the way around.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Those such good examples. And as you're speaking, what comes to mind for me is being intentional, right? So it's like, okay, you want to free up time. Why? Like, what are you going to do with the time? And things will start to transpire for you with that clarity and that alignment. And I like your story of this gentleman because his first thought was, I just want to support my wife. And then it morphed into, oh, now I can go and do some things I love for myself with flying. Oh, and now I can give back to the church. And so like it opens up the door to start to allow ourselves to dream about other things we would be doing without being so singular focused. And so
You,
that's such a good story.
We were talking about this the other day really quickly, is that most people work to pay their bill,
Mhm.
right? And I have a lifestyle and it costs me $50,000 a year just to pay for the house I live in and the food I eat and da 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 da. And I'm running a business and that's going to cost me another $50,000 a year, let's just say. So I'm working to generate $100,000. That's in the mental space, right? And what's interesting about all of that is that that's great. But what about the things that you want in your future? Like, do I want to have a house in Italy? Do I want to put my kids through college or not, or pay for a wedding or not? Do I want to invest in stocks and bonds or something that creates future passive income models for me? What else do you want to do? So if you have profits beyond your $100,000, and you will, once you have profits and you pay your taxes and you do that piece, do you have a design for money? Because if we don't have the design for it, it doesn't come to us. We have to have a vision about what all of this, what does a business do? A business interacts with the community and you do a service there that you just love to give, and people come to you because you offer such a great service and you tell everybody about your great service and they pay you a fee, and you get enough of those fees that it pays for your life. But you really want something more than just pay for the life. You want to, and you want something bigger than that financially. So the income supports that vision. And if you don't have that design, it's hard to get there. Otherwise, it stops at the $100,000 because that's all you're thinking about. $100,000. You'll get $100,000. I can almost assure you, you think about $100,000, you're going to get it. If you think about $200,000, you're probably going to get that too. If you think about $1,000,000, you probably are going to get that too. It doesn't take you any more time to generate it. It's just about where you put your energy and your thought.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so great. And so, Paul, a couple questions before we start wrapping up. I could speak to you and pick your brain on this stuff all day long. Yet I have seen you're speaking from my experience, anyways, what you actually practice in your life. And I share this with you and Beth that you two really do lead by example in designing your life. You're very successful. You a lot and care about and spend time in building your teams and growing your business. Yet I see you. My mom always says to me, what, Beth and Paul are always doing the coolest things. What are they up to now? Because you guys entertain, you go out with friends and family, you travel, you make time for vacation. You two go on date nights and spend time together. You focus on your health. And so what last tips would you have for people to be successful and design your life at the same time? Because in my experience of the two of you as a couple, you're actual walking, talking, living examples of this. And I know it's not perfect, yet I know you do your best. And for me, I see you living that. So I'm inspired by the two of you all the time.
Thank you for that. We work on it a lot and we fail a lot, and we keep coming back to what's our priorities. And at the end of the day, we keep it very, very simple. Is that our priorities are each other. That's the first thing, because whatever happens, we're still here. And the second thing is to have a business that we enjoy doing and want to be a part of, and be clear about what that is. Focus on our faith, focus on our friends, focus on our family, focus on our fitness. And you have to design, not have to, it's important to design time in your calendar for it to accomplish, to be accomplished. And so when it's not just that I want to be healthy. It's like, what am I actually going to do? And I'm going to eat vegetarian 3 days out of the week or something, right? Whatever that is from that point of view, and work out 3 days. And here's the days. And that's how you measure your success about how you're getting to where you want to go. I want to go on a date night so that I have a good relationship. I want to do that every other week or once a week or whatever the time frame is, or get away on a vacation. Whatever those things are, you have to design the priority around it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And so what would you say would be your definition of success today? Because you've had many chapters in your life. So what would you say today would be your version of success?
Oh, that's such a great question. A definition of success for me is fortune. And when I say fortune, what I mean by that is I'm fortunate. And I'm a fortunate man to have the relationship that I have and the life that I have. And I work at it. So definition of success, don't give up on where you want to go with your life. It's not always easy. It's not always going to work out the way you thought it was going to work out. That's perfectly okay. Just don't give up on yourself. And that doesn't mean you can't change a plan. Just don't give up on yourself. That's what I think success is. Keep coming back to what you want to create.
I love that. Don't give up on you. And so, in that light, what would you say would be 3 tips for people to unleash their greatness within?
3 tips to unleash their greatness within. Meditate, right? Ask yourself, breathe and meditate. Um, Serve others, give a lot. Um, be mindful of how you carry yourself. Right?
Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that?
Um, how you show up. And a good friend of mine and yours, Rick Jiha, who passed, how he carried himself is that when he walked into the room, he was interested. He was interested in who was in the room. He was an interesting man, but he wasn't interesting from his own point. But he was interested in others. He carried himself with curiosity, and he carried himself with the openness to understand others and learn. So that's carrying yourself to be able to receive is really what it is. Are you open? So that's a big piece. Are you open or are you not open? When you walk into a room, people feel that energy. We talked about this about the island the other day, right?
Yeah.
Being voted on the island. If there was only one person in a room of 100 or whatever, there's 100 people in a room and you just stand in front of them for like 2 seconds and you say yes or no, move on to the next person, yes or no. And that yes or no, what you're saying is that, yes, I want you on an island, deserted island, just the two of us, or no, I don't. And in that room, I was not welcomed on very many people's island. The opposite of that, my wife was welcomed by almost everybody on the island, and it was our energy and how we were showing up in the room and how we were open or not open.
Yeah.
She very much more open than I am, technically speaking, and I was much more closed, right? And so people will read that energy and they're like, nope, don't want you around. So it was a great lesson
that was
for me.
then, Paul. That was then, Paul. Not now, not now, Paul.
Yeah, that's right. That was an awareness of like, whoa, things have got to change. Yeah.
Yeah. Energy speaks volumes. Okay. Well,
Yes.
Paul, what would be one last thing if you wanted to share with the listeners? Any last thoughts that come to mind?
I do. And I'm going to ask this. I asked it of you the other day. Give me a number between 51 and 102.
Oh, okay. 93.
93. Oh, I'm in the 90s. I don't always get in the 90s. This is good. My dreams are worthless. My plans are dust. My goals are impossible. All are of no value unless they are followed by action. I will act now.
Ooh.
Odd man being the greatest salesman in the world. That was good for today.
That was perfect. Act now, everybody. And Paul, where can people get a hold of you? I know you do real estate all throughout North America, in Canada, in the US. You coach other coaches through your
Workman Success Systems.
Workman Success System, which I know you're going to actually as well gift the listeners a business strategy plan, which we'll put in the show notes. That's so generous of you. Everybody, this is one of the best business plans I've seen, a best business plan strategy and template. Thank you. But where can we find you, Paul?
So I would like to say I have all these websites and things like that. You can go to what is it? teamsessum.com. You can catch me there. You can email me, which is usually the best way to get me, is to email me at paul@teamsessum.com. And I will respond. Just say that you were listening to this call today and you have questions, you want to get a 10-minute call or something like that. Let's schedule something. I'm here to help and help you out. This business plan that is we use at Workman, the Workman Success System, is comprehensive. It takes some thought. And if you want some guidance around it, just reach out to me and I will be happy to get back to you and spend some time. We can work it together.
Oh my gosh, Paul, you're so awesome. And I know you mean that because you are a giver and you always want to see the people sitting across from you succeed. And so thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you so much. I love you and Beth so much. I'm just so grateful to be your friends and just thank you for giving us your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you, Kelly. Love you much.
I just want to thank Paul Sessum for being on the episode today. Loved having him. He's such a special person to me in my life. Him and his beautiful wife, Beth Bowles, who go back and listen to her episode, which was episode 1, because she's such a special friend for me in my life and just doing amazing things as well. They are a power couple. If you enjoyed Paul and you go and you listen to it and you enjoy Beth, I'm going to have them both on as a couple talking about the power of relationships and how to be in a fruitful relationship with each other as entrepreneurs, which I think is a great topic. So stay tuned for that one. And just want to thank Paul for coming on and talking about teams and why collaboration is so important to build a strong team so that you in turn can go and live your best life and design your schedule the way that you want to, because you've empowered your team to be operating at their best. And it's such a win-win strategy. And so just thanks again, Paul, for coming on and sharing your wisdom. Appreciate you. I hope all of you listeners enjoyed today's episode. And once again, if you did, please head over and don't forget to like. You can go over to YouTube and watch all of the episodes on YouTube. Please subscribe. I'd be forever grateful. And just thank you so much for being here and listening. My hope is that you continue to get value that you can apply to your life and your business, so personally and professionally. So thanks for listening. With love, greatness, and success, it's your host, Kelly Beveridge.